Hello, welcome to this new episode of the Alex Show TV. This episode is from March the 28th of the year 2025. So it's a Friday. And today is going to be, as we continue on this 5 episode series on sleep, time works differently in dreams. Before we start, I just want to address the announcement I had on Monday and explain it a little bit better. So basically, from now on, for sure, there's going to be Friday episodes, and 100% they're going to be this type. I think there was some confusion when I called them podcasts, because podcasts, what I call chats, is when I have my good friend Tony from London, Jeannie, and other guests. That's what I call chats or conversations or something like that. And I call these monologues, these videos that usually most of the times have a support video, podcasts. And apparently there's some confusion there. So we're gonna have this type of episode. You wanna call it my own monologues, capsules, something like that. They're gonna come on Friday. That's when I'm gonna build inventory on. Actually, I'm in the process of building inventory all the way through May, just in the next few days. And that's what I was sharing on Monday. That gives me a lot of peace, of tranquility, to know that I for sure have your shows prepared. They're actually gonna be already uploaded to YouTube. So even if something happens, they're gonna come out. Also, that gives me a lot of peace of mind. And if there are any chats, they're just going to be inserted on Mondays. Okay, so let's say I have a chat today or tomorrow, they're just going to come the next Monday. Okay, hope it makes sense. That's the reason also we're getting away from episode numbers. It was probably a good idea. There was at the beginning, it made sense, episode 1, episode 2. After a while, most channels get away from that when we're already in episode 408 or something like that. And the reason for that is because as I build inventory, it wouldn't make any sense to have a chat. It's going to be a different episode number. Okay, so basically, I'm just going to reference the date and just say what date is and the title and get on with it. Sorry about that. I just wanted to clarify. So basically, now we officially start. We're going to have for sure episodes on Fridays. Okay, and I hope you enjoy them as always. So this is the third show of 5 on time, all based on the same support video. And you probably have noticed that time works differently in dreams, okay? I want to share a couple of stories here. One is mine and one is from a movie. I'm going to start with the one from the movie. I've shared a few times I'm very fond of the movie. Yes, a Hollywood production, it's commercial, I know. A Family Man, or Family Man, I believe is the right title. Family Man. Nicolas Cage, year 2000. I'm very fond of this movie because I was going out with my girlfriend at the time, wife right now, and I remember it was one of the movies many movies we saw that year at the cinema. We actually went and the full experience of popcorn and all that. So that movie, since I watched it, it gave me the idea that Nicolas Cage. If you haven't seen it, it's totally recommended. But basically, in a nutshell, for the ones that haven't seen it, Nicolas Cage is very wealthy. He's single. He's the president of a financial company, very wealthy, Ferrari car, apartment out there in downtown New York, and all that. And he gets a note from his secretary that an old girlfriend, 10, 15 years ago, that he actually had left to go to Europe and start his career, had contacted him. It was not for the reason he thought. Maybe he thought she wanted to go out or something. No, it was to give him back some property he had of him. So he goes. There's a thing there that he prevents a robbery and all that, but I'm gonna not dwell into that. He goes to bed that night, and suddenly he wakes up, which I think it was in a dream. That's the way I always felt the movie is trying to tell you. And his life is different. No one will recognize him. He's actually married to the old girlfriend in New Jersey, not New York. So the movie will go for 2-3 months and will show the change of the character of appreciating the family life, appreciating having children, and not necessarily so focused on money and air quotes success, which is a nice story. It's a good story to share. And then one night, of course, he finds the same person that told him that he was going to get a glimpse and all that. Glimpse sounds like a dream. And he goes to sleep and he wakes up in his apartment. The next day, he went to sleep before that. So it was like 2-3 months in a night. Okay. Of course, the movie is not specific that this was a dream. The movie is more that this was something supernatural that happened to him, that God gave him an opportunity to see this glimpse, how will his life would have been if he was married to the old girlfriend and just being a regular guy, a family man. But I see it differently. I see it, and that's when I'm going to share one story. I'm going to interject my own story, that I have had dreams that feel like that, okay? But specifically one felt that it went on for months, okay? Months like that. And it was not necessarily a good experience. It was a little bit stressful. That I was put in mazes, and I had to solve these mazes. And I would just, basically by being persistent, I would hit a wall and just go back and find a new entrance and that. And then once I would solve the maze, I will be in another maze. And that went on tens of times in the dream, okay? So it felt like a long time. And then I had a very strange situation, because I think in the dream state, as I already shared on the previous episodes and many times on other shows, in the dream state, there's so much going on. So there are entities there, you access other dimensions, you access timelines, you access densities, you make contracts, you make limiting beliefs, you acquire limiting beliefs. There's so much going on in dreams. So this entity appeared and say, hey, hold it for a second here. After solving a lot of mazes, and it felt I was upset. I wanted to work. In a way, I was understanding I was dreaming, but I wanted to end because I was getting tired of these mazes. And he says, stop it. You are not gonna get out like that. You're not gonna solve what you need to solve. And then I said, no, yes, I'm gonna do it. Okay, I feel I'm gonna do it. I feel that I can solve this. And so suddenly another entity appears, which seems to be like the boss of this entity, and says he's not getting it. He's not gonna solve it. And this entity suddenly, there's something I don't recall very well, but I woke from the dream. Okay, after that, I don't know if this entity sent me back or something like that. Very strange stuff. When I say wake up, I felt honestly months. I had to go to school, and I don't know if it was a Wednesday. I don't know if it has happened to you, but I didn't understand where I was, in what planet, what day of the week, what should I do. It took me like an hour, honestly, like an hour. I took a long shower, and then as I was having breakfast, I was coming back to reality. So it felt I was away for so long. So yes, going back to the analogy of Family Man, the movie, I do believe we could have those kind of dreams, especially we remember them. And this dream of the mazes, I remember that perfectly when I woke up, for some reason. Especially we remember them. And I think in the movie, Nicolas Cage wakes up and remembers perfectly the dream of his glimpse of his other life, which was maybe a timeline, a possibility. Because apparently the only change was he was going to go to London on an internship, and on his regular timeline, he didn't come back, and he spent a year, and of course he broke up with a girlfriend, and everyone, both parties took their own path. On the other alternative timeline in the dream, he comes back the next day, and then they get married very young, and they have children, and that's how he ended up being just a regular guy working for his father-in-law selling tires. But then the nice part of the movie, if you haven't seen it, watch it, it's a nice movie, is how he starts appreciating having a nice wife, having a family life, being domestic, as he calls it, fixing things around the house, and not having servants and Ferraris and that, but having a regular car like everyone, okay? So that's the magic of dreams and how time works different in dreams. So we have a support video to watch, part of the same support video of this series. Let's watch it together, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts on this short Friday episode on how time works differently in dreams.
Most people have had dreams that seem to stretch on for hours, full of intricate details and unfolding events, only to wake up and realize that barely a few minutes had passed in the real world. This strange phenomenon isn't just a trick of memory or perception. Scientific research suggests that the way we experience time in dreams is fundamentally different from how we process it while awake. Studies on dreaming and sleep cycles have revealed that during REM, rapid eye movement sleep, when most vivid dreams occur, the brain operates on a different internal clock. Unlike wakeful consciousness, where time is measured and experienced in a linear fashion, the dream state appears to bend, stretch, and compress time in ways that defy ordinary logic. Some researchers theorize that this is because, in dreams, our brain is no longer receiving input from the outside world, allowing it to create its own sense of duration, unmoored from physical reality. Lucid dreamers, people who become aware they are dreaming and can sometimes control their dreams, have even tested this idea. They have conducted experiments within their dreams, setting challenges such as counting seconds or performing tasks while tracking the perceived duration. When they wake up and compare their estimations to real-world time, the results are often surprising. Some report that their dream actions feel nearly synchronized with real time, while others experience extreme time dilation, where an entire dream narrative that seemed to last hours or even days transpired in just a few minutes of sleep. This raises fascinating questions about the nature of time and consciousness. If the mind can experience time so fluidly in dreams, what does that say about its relationship to reality? Could it mean that time, as we understand it, is more of a mental construct than a rigid, unchanging law of nature? Some philosophers and scientists have even suggested that our waking experience of time is just one possible interpretation of reality, one shaped by our brain's need to process information in a structured way. If dreams reveal that time can be stretched and compressed at will, then perhaps what we consider real time is just a limitation of our physical senses. And if consciousness itself can drift beyond the constraints of time in a dream, could this mean that it isn't fully bound to the physical world at all?
Okay, so I think we can all agree time works differently in dreams, but I'm gonna go right ahead and think the most important difference is time is linear in this conscious reality. And time, I believe, in dreams works similar like time works in spirit state. I've been asked many times. I don't have the answers for you. I just can tell you my intuition. I always say, hey, I'm gonna go right ahead and tell you what I feel, what I think, but you make your own mind, okay, of what to make of that. But something different from sleep, but what is called the reincarnation cycle, that is that when we go leave this reality, one option we have is to come back to this earth in another life, in another birth, okay? And yeah, some people don't believe that. Religious, depending on the religion, most religions don't agree with that. That's not the point. What I want to share is some have asked me if we reincarnate immediately, and I disagree. The information I got is that we sometimes take Earth, and that's why I call it Earth, or this reality, conscious reality, time, years, okay? So you could have maybe lived in the 1940s, 1950s, and reincarnated in the 1990s, 2000s. So it seems like a very long time. If you see the linearity of time that we have here in this conscious reality, that we actually count time, every second is a second, okay? That's a given. And say 40 years, and what am I doing those 40 years? Am I just sitting in a chair? And I say, hey, maybe you don't experience it like that. And those 40 years is the opposite from dreams, which I think in a way I've shared, that it seems like time, instead of operating faster in dreams, operates in a slower way, which will have, the video talks hours, and yes, I agree, hours, but the dream I had about the mazes felt like days and weeks. And the story of the movie Family Man, weeks and months, okay, in one night. Is that possible? Yes. I also had dreams, especially when I went to school, that I had an alarm and that I will wake up, I don't know, 5:30, and my alarm was set for 6:10 or something like that. I was like, hey, I still have 40 minutes. Let me try and get back to sleep. And sometimes there will be a dream in these 40 minutes, and it will feel like a long dream. Not this one of the mazes. That time, what I remember is I went to bed, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night, and I woke up 6, 7 a.m. And it felt I didn't wake up all night. So at least on that one, it was hours of real time that reflected in weeks or months solving these mazes. Trust me, not very nice. But on these short dreams, like that time at 5:30 to 6:10, and then probably I was asleep 10, 20 minutes, and it felt like a dream that went on for hours. So the linearity of time in dreams, I think, is similar to the spirit state, which there's no real way of, the experience is so different. So instead of those 40 years while you reincarnate feeling like 400 years or 4,000 years, something tells me they go like 4 minutes maybe, or an hour or something like that. So it goes very fast for you. I've heard so many stories on reincarnation that some come back after a month, 2 months. The thing is, apparently you're inserted in the same family group. It has to do with the contracts, it has to do with the limiting beliefs, it has to do with the alliances among your family tree. So as you are reinserted in the same family group, well, there has to be a birth, and there are a few family members waiting to reincarnate. So yes, it's very strange, but let's say a cousin of yours or your daughter is giving a birth, and maybe your father passed away 10 years ago. Maybe it's your father coming back in your grandchild. Or maybe someone before your father and a few before your father were in line for that birth, and it's your grandfather or something like that. So you also probably also have heard, and I'm just gonna stop it with this because I'm maybe deviating from the subject, but you also probably have heard that sometimes you are your own great grandfather. Yes, that works that way because you were a reincarnation of your great grandfather in you. Okay. But time is a subject on its own, and time is experience. Time, the difference is how we experience it. Okay, and in this reality, it's very clear how we experience it. It's linear. It's linear. Okay, and I'm not sure it works the same way in dreams. And by the way, it feels in dreams you can move around time. But the very interesting part of dreams goes with something that is referred as lucid dreaming, and it means that you are aware, and you start saying, "All right, I want to go back 1,000 years," and you go back 1,000 years. Yes, it works that way. Or I want to fly, or I want to go outside of planet Earth, or I want to go to another dimension, or I want to go to another lifetime. It works that way. When you are just going with the flow, well, the dream is taking you in a way that way. What I remember from the dream of the maze is I believe I was aware I was dreaming, so that kind of relaxed me, but I wanted to get out, and I felt by solving the maze I will get out of the dream and wake up, and another maze will show up, and another maze, and apparently when these entities, which I believe they were like gatekeepers of whatever I was in, and it was the first one and the boss when I didn't accept what the gatekeeper was trying to tell me, they were putting those things, so I will give up, and maybe by giving up I will wake up, something like that. But I remember when I was said, stop it, stop trying to solve it, I said, no, I will keep going. That's when I woke up. Something happened there, and I said, no, this whatever test or whatever, they didn't like it. That's the impression I got. So time works differently in dreams for sure, and it's one of the impressive, fantastic things about the dream state, which is everything opens up, and in a nutshell, I think we go back to focusing on the spirit and leaving the body behind, in the sense that the body's resting, the body's detoxing, the body's doing its physical processes. So we're in that state, and once we tap into that, I think we can achieve so much. So much we can achieve in the dream sleep state. So I hope you enjoyed this Friday show. If everything is okay, I shall see you next Friday. I don't know if there's a chat. I'll see you Monday. That's gonna change. That's gonna be the little change here. I don't know when I'm gonna see you again. If you see on the channel a show on Monday that there was a chat, if not, for sure, I will see you back here next Friday. All right? Have a great weekend. Take care. Thank you for making it to this part of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I suggest to you that you discover your true self. You are not what you have been groomed to believe. You are this incredible being without limits that has eternal life, amazing strength, infinite wisdom, and a big, beautiful heart. All your limits are always self-imposed. Your best version in this reality is inside you. Your only mission on this life is to become a beacon of love and to serve others. This version is ready to be discovered today. How do you discover your true self? The discovery process is a personal one. No one can do it for you. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to talk to the universe. Simply ask, who am I? Where do I come from? What is my purpose? You will start getting signs, breadcrumbs, and signals. You will notice how your notions about this reality start disappearing. No more hierarchies, no more competition, no more complaining, no more depending on others. Discovering your true self equals to real freedom. Your self-imposed limits will fall and you will be ready to understand this reality, but you must be patient to allow others to wake up at their time through their own free will. That will be really soon, you will see, and that will set up a new world. As you work towards your best version, you will notice how all emotions don't serve you anymore. Hate, fear, rage, pride, lust, envy, violence, justice through violence, judgment of others, and other emotions will disappear from your mind and heart. You will understand those emotions serve only your egoic mind and are not you. Please try to be understanding of others that don't think or feel like you. Everyone has a process. No one is right or wrong. We're all just different. Don't be concerned about being right, ever. Don't allow pride preventing you from patching things up with family and friends. It is very important you enjoy this life with your loved ones. Put in the work to patch things up and leave it to others to decide. Thank you very much for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe. If you have any comments or suggestions, please use the comment section below. For private questions, conversations, and if you would like to appear on the show, please email me at hey@thealexshow.tv. Thank you again. Please don't forget to visit our website www.thealexshow.tv. By giving me your time, you honor me. Have a very, very, very nice day.